it's all a learning process as well. And I think that's testing, like us, well, like not testing, but like we have to be patient with other people. I've noticed that a lot as well. Like I've been like a lot of patient. I'm trying to like have more patience with people because of what I've learned. I expect other people to know it, if you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what are you on about? It's like, but you forget that that other people don't know this. So yeah.
We also forget that we had to go through.
We had to go through it all as well.
Through it as well. We forget. So how can we, or who are we to demand something about something that we had to go through also, and let's say suffer it or experience it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we cannot demand from people to evolve faster, because each person has its own pace, in the same way that you wouldn't like me to go there to your house and say, come on, Melissa.
Yeah.
Come on, more, faster. You wouldn't like that. You like your own pace. You like your own pace. And actually, even for us, it's difficult to bear ourselves sometimes, because our brains are trying to be like a secondary being telling us, come on, you should know this by now, or come on, you should do something today, or come on, blah, blah. And we have already that inner fight with ourselves. So if someone else comes from the outer world to tell us, come on, do something, we're gonna feel really angry.
Yeah.
Especially those who are in that process of listening so much themselves, no? Then you come to that stage at some point in evolution when you don't hear that voice anymore, because you have talked so much to it. You have understood so much everything that tried to say, and every time that the ego tried to show off, not only show off, but to be the center of attention, that you start understanding how your own ego works, and how your own ego behaves, and how your own ego tries to control everything in your life. When you wake up and you realize, after having so many interactions with your ego, you transcend the ego, and you transcend the ego when you say, okay, I know that you are there, but I'm gonna live my day. I know you want to tell me this to spoil it. I know that you want to tell me this to maybe don't feel 100% great. Maybe you are telling me this just to avoid and create some sort of sabotage, to don't do this or that. But I heard you for maybe 38 years, and I had enough of you. So now sit down quiet and let me live life, because I want to live life. I want to start living every moment with every person that I love fully, not partially. Like I've been living my life so far. I've been living life partially, not 100%. And that's why they say, I want to live life to the full. Yeah, we say it, but we don't do it. And it's about doing instead of so much saying. Because you don't have to demonstrate that to me. You have to demonstrate that to yourselves. Nobody else. Why? Because when you do that, you are going to start vibrating. You're going to start blossoming. You're going to start shining. And everybody else is going to notice that there is a star very close walking around them.
Yeah.
There is a star, and they want them. They want, even if they don't tell you, they want you to be close. They want you to be close to them. And that's what happens when we shine, and when we say to that other voice, other friend we call ego, just sit down, please sit down. This, you've been 38 years leading the path. Sure. Now it's my turn to lead the path. Let me do it. I'm okay. Okay. And if you want to talk, remember, I'm going to do the opposite, because everything that you tell me, for some reason or for another, is actually the opposite what I need to do. So, and I found that out also. What the ego tells you is a sign telling you to do the opposite. The opposite. Always the opposite. That's why people confuse the interaction of the ego. They believe that the ego is negative. No, the ego is not negative. The ego is a sign telling you to do the opposite of what the ego is saying.
Yeah.
Totally. If you get it like that, if you change the chip, you become friend of your ego, and by becoming friend of your ego, you don't have friction. No, because it's your friend. And so you listen to him or to her, and you say, all right, I got it. Okay, I'm going to do the opposite. and you do the opposite. And every time you hear, so the ego doesn't feel like you are neglecting him or her or it. Because when you neglect them, the ego reveal and says, become a rebel, and says, no, you are going to listen to me. You are going to hear me here, because I have a voice. I have a function within yourself. I'm not here. I have a purpose, and then my purpose is to tell you what not to do. By telling you, do the wrong thing. Yeah.
It's like the little, the devil and the angel on the shoulder.
They're represented with the angel and the devil. Exactly. Exactly. But
and then at the end of the day, it's your choice whether you listen to the ego or you listen to your higher self, I suppose, isn't it? Like.
To me, if there was a shortcut, the shortcut I took was to consider them that they aren't angelic, or they aren't demonic. I started considering them both like a support, a light being within me that is telling me negative things, but it's just because it's the language that it has, let's say, no? So in a way that I made it easier for myself is by making the ego my best friend, by considering my ego my best friend, and saying, you are not the evil, you are not the angel either. You are just someone pointing me at what to don't do. I mean, to like don't do conscience. In order to do it.
Like your conscience, like knowing.
But your conscience is more powerful than him. That's why we can talk to it. That's why we can consider it an angel or a demonic being. Because you are conscious, and conscience is more powerful, and it has more strength and voice in any single situation that you interact with your own ego. Otherwise, life will be much more of a hell than it has been so far. Because we've been struggling, even having more power with our consciousness, even having that. The ego has been taking control of all our system and abilities, and we've been messed up for many centuries. And it's today when we are observing more and more the way we are inside, the way that our psyche works, our consciousness works. We are separating in order to understand how everything works, and one day it's not gonna be even necessary to do that, because we are going to be aware. Actually, we are going to teach our children how the human system and the human mind works, so that they don't have to spend 38 years like us seeking for solution and understandings of what the heck is going on. I was going to swear because it has been a long time, really. So it came like the rage of swearing, when I believe that can be avoided. I believe that we can bring this to the education and support, and that's part of what I'm going to be doing in the future. This is actually I'm doing today what I'm doing. People who knows me know what I'm doing in nowadays, but at some point I'm gonna shift completely into teaching and education, especially for children and teenagers, because if we do that, we help completely everything and everyone, because they are the future. And if we keep passing the same crap to our children that we've been ingesting, our children are going to be doing the same, repeating the same.
They're going to have to go through the same cycle as what we've had to go through with healing and everything else.
Exactly. And at some point they might say, this is what my mother Melissa told me. Why are you hurting me? I don't know, but this is what I learned from my mom, so I thought that was right. And the girlfriend is saying, Jack's girlfriend is saying, no, I don't feel okay with this. And Jack say, well, I thought that was normal, because that's what I saw from my mother. And that's what we do. It's not that I'm saying that this is gonna happen, but it's just an example that how we act and what we do from generation to generation, and this needs to stop, because it's like a war. In the same way that we see that the war should stop and is nonsense, this is times are also to say this is nonsense. And we need to bring what we can. We don't have to go from 0 to 100% of improvement, but if we can bring 3% of improvement, comparing to what you did the previous day, well, this is 3% of improvement for Jack and every single person that Jack get in contact to. Or with. And that's how we help the grid to raise consciousness and to help. And we know that we know that the people who are awakening, we know this. We just maybe don't put words, and that's why we have these chit chats in order to put words to what most people know already. We are not here, Melissa and I, to lecture you. We are not here to tell you you are any less than us. We know that you know what we are talking about. We know. We are just putting words into what we already know, so that we can reinforce, so that we can raise the vibes and give the important to things that they should, because that's why we know it, and we are not sharing this enough, I think, with each other. I think we are still keeping too much silence in terms of what we already know, and if we keep things in silence, we don't interact. we don't take action. So we positively believe that this chit chat maybe it doesn't help everyone, but it might help some people to activate those things that they are latent inside or asleep inside, because they are just not spoken, or they are not just not shared even with your own family. And by listening other people like us, maybe that helps to bring that up also within your system, instead of having it deep inside like it has been kept, even knowing that it exists. Maybe these chit chats help to bring all those things to the surface, and once we have them here in front of our eyes, in front of in our reality, and we see them, and we feel them more in depth, because they become more real. When we talk about something, we make things real. We bring them to the surface, and they become more alive. So maybe
I do feel like there's like a lot of power in conversations, because I know that personally myself, like where I've maybe like felt things or like deep inside, like you said, and like because we all know it, but if you don't have a discussion with another person, there's the amount of times that I've actually had a discussion with another person and they felt exactly the same, and I was like, and I think it's your body just, or your ego even, that tells you, oh, you're the only one that feels like this, you're the only one that feels like this, there's nobody else out there that feels that way. But when you actually start discussing it, or even if you put a personal post on, like I know myself, like people have helped me from just voicing their true voice on Facebook, and just saying how they felt or how they were in the past, and that's also inspired me or made me look at myself a little bit differently as well. It's like, it's just from using the power of your speech to like activating other people as well. It's definitely a thing.
We activate, we reflect, we acknowledge we are the same. That empower us, because if we didn't have this chit chat today, maybe my Sunday wouldn't have had so much color. Maybe a little bit less color. But because we decide to do this, it enriches also the day. And that is not happening between you and me just because we are maybe a little bit more awake, or because we are more special. This happens to everyone in the same way, if you allow it. But you have to allow it. Did you make an effort in order to be here with Melissa? Maybe the effort of making a decision to be with her and have a chat with her, yes. So maybe you guys out there, you need to put sometimes a little bit more of your inner intention to interact more with other people that you feel good with. And if you are awakening and you are in this path, if you come across with this video, I'm sure that is because you are also in that path of awakening. These videos don't reach you by accident in any way at all.